President Putin has accused the United States of using Ukraine to try to limit Russia's development and even to drag it into a conflict. In his first public comments on the crisis in weeks, Mr. Putin said Washington was still failing to address his security concerns, including his request that Ukraine would never join NATO. A phone call between the British Prime Minister Boris Johnson, who is on a visit to Kiev, and Mr. Putin is due to take place later today. Well, let's discuss this with Peter Zalmayev, who's director of the Eurasia Democracy Initiative, joining us live from Kiev. Peter, good to see you again. So since we last talked, there's been high levels of diplomacy with several Western leaders either visiting Kiev or on the phone to Vladimir Putin. The latest is the UK Prime Minister Boris Johnson. Your thoughts on his presence now and his conversation later with Russia's president?
Well, Prime Minister Johnson's visit is happening with the background of a total of 80 high-level visits of dignitaries from international organizations and Western leaders. Soon, Ukraine is expecting a visit by the Dutch Prime Minister and the Turkish president. It's a sort of a shock and awe, as I call it, of revolving door diplomacy by Western political leaders, which is designed to shore up Ukraine's government and to demonstrate unwavering support to Ukraine. It's coupled with the decision by the Czech Republic to send weapons to Ukraine. The U.S. is beefing up its shipments to Ukraine by sending 500 tons of American military equipment. And there is a bill now winding its way through the U.S. Senate, which would put in place sanctions now, preventatively already, and very tough economic sanctions. So I think it seems like that the momentum may be slipping from Vladimir Putin to order his strike on Ukraine with this diplomacy that we're seeing.
OK, and interesting that he should speak for the first time in over a month, pointing the finger at the US in particular, saying, you're talking us into war pretty much. Your thoughts on why he chose to speak publicly yesterday?
Well, I think because he understands that, he probably needs to ratchet down if he has indeed decided that there will not be a big war. Well, mind you, you cannot take Vladimir Putin at his word. And Russia's arsenal of potential tricks, and ways to meddle remains quite wide. Just this week, a high-level U.S. official on cybersecurity is visiting Ukraine because America and everyone understands that Russia can really crash Ukraine's internet and create chaos overnight. But it seems that there is a chance now that we will see Vladimir Putin ratcheting it down, especially in view of the Beijing Olympics coming up and Vladimir Putin not wanting to, mar the occasion for his friend Xi Jinping. But once again, the arsenal remains wide. There is potential for limited military action in the east of Ukraine. There's also cyber attacks, etc. But once again, I think that Vladimir Putin's calculation may be changing simply because maintaining all these troops around Ukraine's borders is getting more expensive politically and economically.
Interesting. Thank you, Peter. Good to speak to you again to give us your take on what's happening currently at the Russia-Ukraine border.